There are many schools of compulsory education system on islands and in secluded areas in the world. Some regions themselves are comprised of many large and small islands. This is true to Japan as well. Characteristically, the number of students in elementary and junior high schools on the islands in Japan has always been small. In recent years, the number has been decreasing rapidly due to the declining birth rate across the nation. As a result, many schools have been abolished or merged, or often students are educated in combined classes. This will happen in other regions of the small birth rate as well in the future. Such an educational environment is advantageous in some respects and disadvantageous in others for students in English as a foreign language education. Teachers can provide individual attention to students because of the low teacher-student ratio. Besides, as Matsumoto et al. 2016 investigated, a combined class which consists of different aged students fosters effective development of students' academic abilities as well as their social-emotional development, given the opportunities for collaborative learning. However, the students in such schools are disadvantaged, unlike their counterparts in the large city, because their geographical location limits their opportunities to exchange opinions, to practice listening to various English pronunciations and expressions, to learn about multicultural phenomena, and to meet people from other areas in Japan and from other countries. Nowadays, English becomes the increased center of focus because of a global society, and hence some students move to a big city for a better education of EFL. Of course, it costs a lot. In addition, an island or a secluded area suffers from depopulation and economic recession. These advantages and disadvantages are true of schools on small islands and in secluded areas in other countries wherever students learn English as a foreign language. Is there a solution to the problem stemming from geographical isolation, so that schools on islands and isolated areas of the world can provide at least as effective and English education as schools in large cities? A potential solution is to provide an English class in the Cyber-Metropolitan City or ICT for students on small islands as well as for students from various ethnic backgrounds and secluded areas in other countries who can be connected with each other through information and communication technology ICT. People who live in large cities often come from different rural communities. If students from small islands get together and communicate with each other in a given area, they can learn English in an educational environment similar to that in large cities. Such an educational environment can be created by ICTs, especially through a teleconference system such as Zoom, Flickr, VoiceThread, Google Doc, and a framework on a website like Canvas. They can create a school in a virtual Cyber-Metropolitan City, or ICT, where schools connect each other and their students can experience and learn diverse cultures, thoughts, expressions, and different pronunciations of English. They can engage in exchange of opinions, just like their peers in the large cities. The ICT can be in a global society as well, when schools on small islands or in the secluded areas of the world are connected by ICTs. For building up the ICT, we set up an English class as a project. 11 or 12-year-old students of 2 elementary schools on 2 islands in Japan, in Hokkaido and the Goto Island in Nagasaki, and the Sado Island in Niigata and the Goto Island in Japan in 2016 and 2017, and on the Goto Island in Nagasaki and the Oahu Island in Hawaii in 2018. Join the class with the use of Zoom and large screen displays. The preparation for classes is basically the same. We argue the preparation in other papers, and thus now we've dealt about some points from the papers and add new information about the class between the Goto Island and the Oahu Island. In preparation for the class, we discussed the theme, the top task, the activities, the contents, the class schedule, and so on with the classroom teachers of both schools. Generally speaking, the elementary school teacher in Japan has to use textbooks in class which are approved by the Ministry of Education in Japan. The textbook for English is Hi Friends. The teachers chose a lesson from this book, Lesson 7, which was suitable for the joint English class, and its theme was to express an idea plainly and clearly in English. Consequently, the activities for the class were as follows. The students of each school split into some groups, and one group set a quiz for the students of the other class on their own characteristic, cultural, and/or historical matters or events. The students in one of the groups from the other school answered the quiz. Then the students who set the quiz told the other students the correct answers. They then made a short presentation as an introduction to their culture in a way which could be easily understood. The students of both schools did the quiz answer presentation activities so that each group of students had their turn. Before the day of the class, the students had prepared for their presentations, choosing topics from the exhaustive list of the themes that are used in English class to promote the cross-cultural understanding, and which are in the book Language Children Making the Match by H. Curtin and C. Pesola, which has been regarded as an authoritative source for learning the English language and the culture of English-speaking countries during compulsory schooling years in the United States and in Japan. Also, we suggested that in the presentation, the students of the two elementary schools should share sociocultural and geographic fact. For instance, that they live on small islands surrounded by the sea. Because of the Channel Sea, the distinguished scholar of cross-cultural understanding and comparative studies points out, 2015, it is critical for mutual understanding in a global society that there is a recognition of affinity as well as a difference, beyond that of socio-cultural differences. On the day of the class, two of our research members stayed in the classrooms to set up the ICT communication system and to observe the class. In addition then, teachers in school on the Goto Island and the Oahu Island prepared for the class with special care of the following matters. Before the class, students practice communication in English slowly, loud and clearly. Students in Hawaii use comparatively easy words, and their teachers who learned Japanese students' average vocabulary. The theme is limited to food, festival, geography, and the sightseeing area, so that students can easily make questions and answer to it. And teachers support their students when they cannot catch what students in the other schools say, and when they do not know how to answer questions. Due to these preparation support, students in both schools can communicate each other better and more smoothly than expected. After the classes, we gave out a questionnaire using free answer questions about the class to all the students and the teachers of the schools who had taken part. We made a corpus from the answers and focus on significant words and phrases. The result of the analysis are as follows. Fun. I want to join this class again. I want to study English hard, or how to make a presentation. I discovered what self-worth I could build in being part of humanity and in my academic ability in English by making myself understood in English and developing a mutual understanding. I was excited to talk with students of different cultural backgrounds for the first time in my life, and so on. In Goto Oahu class, almost 70% of Oahu students wrote that they should study how to make an effective presentation, admiring a presentation by students in Goto. It means that this kind of class is significant not in just in English education, but in interactive stimulation of academic ability. It should also be noted as a consequence of the project that the English class in the ICT had a big impact on the teacher as well. All of them wrote in the questionnaire that the English teaching of the teachers in the other schools was very informative and helpful for their own teaching. In this sense, the teachers who always work with the same teachers on an island were also stimulated and empowered by each other and experienced the increase in motivation to learn more about how to educate students better. Thus, it can be concluded that the outcomes of the project show the true potential that the English class in the ICT contains. For building up the sustainable ICT, we must consider several things such as difference of time zone, gap of academic ability of English class period, and a platform on the web for schools to freely and autonomously carry out their class. If academic abilities of English of students all over the world are similar, they can freely communicate and empower each other in the cyberspace class among several classes, but it is not real, especially for elementary or junior high school students. Presentation in English and quiz and answer session is down to earth. If such a class is held, however, non-students in many schools, but those in 2 schools join the class because the class period is limited. Also, teachers have to look for the partner school. As a solution of these issues, we set up the online portal community for teachers' collaboration between islands and islands, that is, e-learning community lab, with the use of an application software on the web like Canvas. Canvas presents a community where teachers all over the world can call for the partner school according to time zone difference, theme of class, students' academic ability of English, and whatever. Teachers can access to the community lab and can connect each other anytime and make a plan of class and instruct tools for class such as Zoom, Flickr, VoiceThread, Google Doc, and so on. This community fulfills the ICT project that addresses education inequality stemming from economy and geography, especially in English education as a foreign language. Thank you very much.